Hello and welcome back to our decomp tutorial series. Today we are going to be talking about how to add flags, how to add vars, and how to add trainer flags for new trainers. So I'm sure you've heard that I've said it's a little bit of a complicated process before, and to just take over unused flags instead of trying to create your own. Well, today we are going to learn that that's a little bit of a lie. You should still take over unused flags while you can. There's no point in increasing the flags when there are plenty of unused flags that you can use, and if you're deleting the plot of the game that you're editing, there are plenty of flags that are used that you no longer need to worry about anymore. But if you do want to add some flags or vars or trainer flags so that you can add new trainers, here today we are going to talk about one way that you can do it. It's not the only way to do it. This way is the easiest, but it involves breaking the save compatibility for your game. So saves, if you are releasing different versions of your game, if you've already released a version of your game, these changes will break those saves. There are ways around that, but we're not going to go over them today. We're just going to be talking about adding flags, which is incredibly simple. Actually, if you don't care about breaking saves, it's one of the simplest things you can do. Same with vars and trainer flags. So how the flags, the vars, and the trainer flags actually work is we have our save data in our game that gets stored and it persists, across different, times we're playing the game. And inside of our save data, we have our save block 1, our save block 2, and our Pokemon storage. And in the pokeemerald decomps, we, organize these in these structs. The data itself in a struct save block 1 is where the flags and the vars are stored, along with a lot of other stuff, as you can see. So if we scroll down a bit, we can see that the flags are stored in save block 1. They are just, a field that we can index, and it is an array of U8s that go for the number of flag bytes, which is 8 flags per byte, because each flag is just 1 bit. So it's arranging it as an array of U8s that is equal to 1/8 of the flag count. Or if the flag count isn't on 1/8, it increases it by 1. But the vars is the same thing. It is, since each var is they're 2 bytes apiece. The vars is just the var count. It's not divided by 8 or anything. So it's just an array of 16-bit, a 16-bit unsigned integer, or just a bit field or whatever. You can interact with this data in any way you want to in the C code. But obviously, when we're accessing our vars from the script, they are pulled out, as 2-byte chunks, and we perform calculations on them based on that. So anyway, if you noticed by looking at them, these are the indexes. The number of array, the size of the array is defined with these macros, which means that at the end of the day, all we have to do is change what these macros, the size of them, to change the size of the space in the save block. Now you have to be conscious of doing this because there's only a certain amount of size that the save block 1 and save block 2 can reach. And if you haven't already, you definitely want to perform some of the save block increasing methods that people have come up with. There's this very simple one. If you go to save.h and include save.h, you can change these two values here to increase the size of the data sector versus the footer sector of the save space. And this is just basically the saves are saved in these different blocks, and the blocks have a footer section that has some data about the save block, and they have the actual data section where the data is stored. And in the vanilla games, the footer size is way too big for how much it actually needs to be. So we can shrink it and compensate with the increasing the data size, and we gain a lot of save space that way. There is a tutorial that explains that better on the pokeemerald wiki if you would like to look into that. But anyway, we don't need to worry about that if you have some save space. If you're adding new flags, you're only going to need a couple bytes anyway to add even a large number of flags. If you want to add a lot of vars though, you need to make space because again they're 2 bytes apiece. So if you want to add 10 vars, you need to make 20 bytes of space in your save block. And again, as these increase, you can literally think about this as like growing. It's pushing each of these things down a bit, which is why the saves are incompatible, because now what was, used to be a var, or used to be game stats if you're in an old save, is now in the var spot, and vice versa. The vars are now where the game stats are. It just makes things complicated. But if you don't care about that, which I don't necessarily think you should, but if you don't, then all you need to do for the flags is we just need to, this is, our flags.h include constants flags.h, we just scroll down to the bottom and we can just add flags. Now you can add them at the end of these daily flags and then change the flags count to, instead of being the end of daily flags, to be the end of whatever flags you add here. Or you can add them at the end before the daily flags, because the daily flags they're reset once per day, cleared once per day. We don't want our new flags to be cleared once per day, so we can just add them at the end of the normal flag list. So this is the end of the normal flags in pokeemerald. It's just flag unused 0x91f. And this is a relative address based on, the beginning of system flags, which we scroll up, is related to the start of system flags is the end of trainer flags, which is how we, increase the trainer flags the same way, but we'll get into it in a minute. To start with, so all we need to do is just start adding new defines. That's it. For now, I mean, we start adding new defines, and then when we get to the end of our list, these are all flags that I've added, just, in preparation for the tutorial, not for any particular reason, because this is a clean copy of pokeemerald. So I just added these flags. We're just based on system flags. So system flags BF, well, what's the next, the next number that this is going to be assigned to? It's system flags plus C0, because that's the next number in hexadecimal. So we're just increasing by hexadecimal the actual value that these defines are going to be assigned, and it's relative based on whatever system flags is. And how it works with the daily flags is the daily flags are, instead of having that system flag, it's based on the daily flags, which the daily flags is based on the last element of our flag list, of our normal system flag list. And that's the second change you need to make. So after you add all of these flags here, you need to make sure you go down to the end and you need to copy your last flag, your highest value, and then you need to insert it into the daily flag start list in both of these places. So both of these sections is where you want to put your last flag. If you notice here, this doesn't say system flags. It's because I did the same thing. I went system flags, system flags, system flags, system flags, and then this is the last flag, and now I based these off of this one. And if you're wondering why I did that, it's just because I wanted to do 3 more sections, and I was going to reach FF, and I didn't want to go into 3-digit hexadecimal, not that it would really matter. But anyway, so I just based it off of that so that I could just keep going down with the last flag of the first section of them. But anyway, that doesn't matter at all. So you just need to add your flag to here, and it adds it to here. So now daily flags is dynamically offset by your new, your new large section of flags. So these are just adding on top of this. So it's just pushing it 1 bit over every single time. And when you add a whole chunk of flags, you're just pushing this whole daily flag section. You're just pushing it, in that case, it was 96 bits over. So I just pushed this daily flag section 96 bits over, and since the end of the daily flags is relative to the last, daily flag, and the daily flags are relative to what comes before them, and the flag count is relative to the daily flags end, we don't have to do anything else. Our save block for our flags is already going to be shifted based on the number of flags that we have. Now, you're like, well, the defines are actually different. If we look it up real quick, this is just number, flags, bytes, round bits, flags count. So it's just taking bits to bytes. That's just the divided by 8, so that we can get the number of U8s, since our flags are normally 1 bit, but we want to group them 8 at a time for the save block, how it's just storing it as a unsigned 8-bit integer. But anyway, that's how to add flags. Very simple. I will copy and paste this flag section into a paste bin in the description if you just want to copy this yourself and paste it in there and then make the changes here to add the bottom flag there. If you just want to add 96 flags straight up, I will do that, so it's easy for anyone to copy and paste in. But anyway, Vars is the same thing. So we have our Vars start at 4,000, not really 4,000, but hexadecimal 4,000. And I just cut out of, it doesn't matter. Oh, no, I didn't. So anyway, save block 1. So the Vars, same thing. It's just this U16 array that is the size of Vars count. And if we look into battles, that's not the one I want it to be in. I don't know where I put it, so it doesn't matter. The Vars array is just the 400 here. If you if you're trying to access a var that's before the 400, it just gives you a null. It just doesn't do anything. And after the 400 is it's just indexed in this array of vars here. In this array of vars, it's just indexed by whatever the number is of the var minus 4,000 in hexadecimal. So it starts normally. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're still indexing the global, the save block vars field, sequentially, so this 4,000 that you see here is just being removed, basically. But anyway, that's not that important. The same thing applies to our vars. When we want to add vars, we go to the bottom list of the unused vars, and we just add more. We just keep going. So this was 40FF. We do 4100, 4101, 4102, all the way down to 410F. And then we repeat that twice because, well, we don't repeat it twice. You take your last value for your last variable and you add it to the end of the vars. And the vars end is added into vars count, which is the define that is used to specify the size of the vars array in the save block. Extremely simple stuff. Just adding vars, shifting the define so that it's accounting for the new space, which shifts the save block, which will, mess with your save block, but it will give you that new var space. It'll give you that new flag space. Both extremely simple to do. Now, trainer flags is, I and others have certainly made it more complicated than it needs to be in speech, but if you want to keep safe compatibility, it can be more complicated. It's definitely, you need to find different places in the save struct that have unused bits that you can take over and at the end and create new bit fields for those flags and new functions to access them, or the old functions but with some more conditionals. And it's not necessarily the easiest thing to do, but if you don't care about the save block if you haven't released your hack, you shouldn't, unless you're specifically wanting, to be able to take a vanilla save and put it on, and put it into your hack. But anyway, it shouldn't matter that much, so it's pretty easy to increase the number of trainers that you can have in your game. I didn't actually increase them in this repo, but we are going to go over it. Trainer flags, start, trainer flags, end. Yeah, so this is all that we need to do. So this is in the flags list where we're going down, these are our first flags that we see here. They start at the beginning, all the way at basically 0, 0, 0. And then we keep going, increasing more and more flags. This is just 1 bit at a time. We're just increasing 1 bit at a time. It starts getting relative, but we're still going up 1 bit at a time. We go back back, they were just 1 bit at a time, all the way, 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 all the way up. And then we don't have defined here. They're not defined here, but starting at 500 after FF, for FF, starting at 500 are the trainer flags. And they end here as well, supposedly. They're not really ending, but this is the relative start of them based on the start of trainer flags, so just 500 plus the number of trainers. So from here, how the flags are being indexed is they're being indexed with their trainer number, their define for their trainer in this opponents.h file, include constants opponents.h. So these are all of the trainer values. These are the same defines that are used for their indices in the trainers lists for their their parties and stuff. It's the same number, and normally you're like, well, you're told to take over one or get rid of the match call and take over all these 2, 3, 4, 5 ones because they're not really needed. And you can create other ways of doing match calls, like dynamically over leveling Pokemon if you've already beaten them, things like that. But if you want to add new trainers without doing any of that, all you need to do is change the max trainer count. That's it. You change, and change trainers count as well after you've increased the number of trainers, but you just need to change the max trainers count. It can be increased, but it will take up additional save space. It will push things, and because all of these flags after it, the system flag is defined by the end of the trainer flags. So this is all just getting dynamically shifted. You don't have to worry about any of it, other than breaking saves. You just change this max trainers count, you just keep going. Hashtag define. Caps lock on, but it doesn't matter because I'm not typing it out anyway. So you just change this max trainers count, and it just keeps going. So the functions that index the trainer flags, they're just going to the start of the trainer flags, and then they're adding the trainer ID that you give it to it. So it's just like trainer flag start +1 is just the var that's one, or the flag that's 1 bit after 500. And we don't actually have to have them written out here. We don't need a whole nother list of defines because we're already using the index of the trainer for the define. We don't need to create a whole list of 600 more flags just for the trainers actually in this, constants list, because we already have constants for them. We can just access them by offsets of the start of the trainer flags up to the end of the trainer flags. So anyway, that is how to add flags, vars, and trainer flags. We talked a little bit about the save struct. To demonstrate it, I have added a new variable that triggers on this random trigger when it's not supposed to, and a couple of these characters have been given some of the new flags so that we should be able to see them disappear, and it should work fine. So if I walk over here, this is going to trigger when it's not supposed to. And that means our new flag is working. So the flags are always indexed they're always set to be 0 to start with. So that sign is what I use to set the flag. So now if we walk back out of here, look, the guy there that has been defined as Fat Man is gone now. And as you can see, well, I guess this changed the state of that variable that it was set to, but it was triggering, which means that our var both, it got triggered, and then once its value was changed, it is no longer set to the same thing. So we are living the life. We have gotten new flags and new vars working. That is all. We are going to wrap up the video. If you have any questions, make sure to leave a comment here or in the Discord. Otherwise, I will see you on the next one.